This episode is brought to you by Airbus, U.S. Space and Defense. Marine Corps Expeditionary Advanced Base operations require logistical support when and where Marines need it. The Airbus UH-72 Unmanned Logistics Connector provides proven performance and reliability alongside next-generation autonomous capability. As the Marine Corps revolutionizes warfare, the UH-72 Unmanned Logistics Connector evolves to support it. Visit AirbusUS.com to learn more. That's AirbusUS.com. Hey, Scuttlebutt listeners, thank you for joining us. Day 3, Modern Day Marine in full effect. And I'm really excited, actually, to be welcoming our guest, Chief Warrant Officer 5, Jason Pierce.
Yes.
Jason, thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
Yeah, so I talk a lot of shit about social media because I'm old and get off my lawn, and I don't really participate in the socials other than LinkedIn, but LinkedIn got us linked
absolutely.
in. Yeah, and so I think you started some dialogue with Alina, our social media rep. She turned me on to you. I checked this guy's out. This is a pretty amazing guy. I looked at your LinkedIn, concur, you are an amazing guy. And then you were kind enough to share that in Amar Admin to 201 Tag 24, the National Asian American and Pacific Islander Heritage Month message for the Marine Corps, you specifically are mentioned in the Mar Admin. So, dude, yeah. Thanks for being here. You're you're a Marine celebrity, dude.
I appreciate that. That's really crazy how that came about. I think when I got the call, Headquarters Marine Corps was like, hey, it's the month of May. It's National Asian Heritage Pacific Islander Month. We'd like you to be the example. Sure. And I didn't understand, where did you guys get my name? So I guess somebody had suggested my name, given my story, and it kind of developed from there. And I said, wow, a lot of pressure.
Yeah,
a lot of pressure being on there. So
fill us in. What was your story? How did you become part of a Marinman?
Oh, so sure. So the story rolls out. I was born in the Philippines. I was actually left on the doorstep, orphanage, so I don't know who my natural born parents are. But coming to find out the history in the Philippines, that was very common at the time because they wanted children to have a better life, and they knew, the American soldiers were there. So,
I'm sorry, what year is this?
Oh, this is 1978.
Okay, 78.
Yeah,
right.
1978. And so they left me in an orphanage, and actually my parents, two I know as well for my whole entire life, were missionaries there. They came to the orphanage. They wanted to adopt. I was a week old, but the rule was my natural born mother had 6 months. If she came back, she could still claim me or bring me back. So they were like, well, instead of doing that, let's wait out the 6 months. If she comes back, okay, and if she doesn't, then adopt it. So 6 months later, I was placed in.
So did your foster parents stay in the PI that entire time?
Yeah, absolutely. So they were missionaries there for quite a few years, and I didn't come to the States till I was 12. So yeah. So we stayed there for quite a while. I think there was 1 year in second grade we came back to do vacation, visit family, and then went back. So my younger years was actually growing up in the Philippines.
Yeah, and I don't want to put too fine a point on this because I'm way outside of my lane. But then again, the whole podcast is outside of my lane. But so this seems like an interesting story from, especially the dynamics don't seem to match up with how we understand sort of adoption process. The way that I guess generally the collective consciousness is that folks looking to adopt will will run through all the paperwork, go to the adoption agency, go and visit the child in whatever country that they're coming from, and then we'll take them then back. You had something very different where you were still in your native country with your adopted parents, right? I mean, and living as a Filipino in the Philippines with adopted. Is that interesting? Is that not? Is that common?
So it can be, but to your point, I think that gave me the ability to grow up in the Philippines and understand my culture and to understand the difference in what the potential opportunities are, right? So I guess if I had been born and then went right back to the States early on and I didn't understand what the Philippines was in the culture, that would have made a difference. But yeah, once adopted, you got to go through the paperwork, go through the embassy, and do all the legal.
Yeah.
But I think it helped me more appreciate my culture of the land. I went to Filipino school while I was there.
Yeah.
And learned the culture, learned the language. So,
So cool.
yeah.
So when growing up, did you have like this sense of like a mixed split Filipino American identity, where like it was because I mean they sent you to Filipino school, so they wanted you to foster the sense of where are you from, but also because they are missionaries, bring that. Which specific religious sect?
They were Baptist.
Baptist. So bringing like baptism more like also like because American, but also considering the fact that Filipino American have kind of an intertwined relationship as well.
Right. Yeah. Absolutely. And I think it was important for them to let me see both sides to really understand culture. So
Very good.
my mom was a nurse, my dad's a preacher, and then we'd go to the barrios, the poor parts of the Philippines. My mom would heal people up and put band-aids on them and give them medical care. My dad
She heal him physically, dad heal him spiritually. Right.
right. And dad would heal him spiritually, and then I would run around and play with the neighborhood kids, and that was fun, and I got to really understand the culture. But I really didn't get inundated with Western culture, American culture, until we got back permanently. Right. I kind of understood it, saw it, but they let me be, Filipino as much as you can be. I was playing neighborhood kids, and all my friends are Filipino, so I didn't understand American culture.
This is so interesting at all the various levels here, because it seems like you got sort of just vicariously through your parents seeing this life of service, and of humility and of generosity. But then you come to the States, that had to have been just a massive culture shock.
Absolutely. And my parents weren't rich by any means. Living a missionary life, just kind of more serving others. So, having nothing, being used to the very simple life of the Philippines, to coming and like, oh, there's options, and this is awesome, and there's TV and there's food, and so I liked it. You know what I mean? I didn't know any better, and I was like, well, I really like America and all the things that they have to offer. So it was a shock. Absolutely, I think growing up with kids in American school, much different than the way the kids treated me. So I could speak English real well. And then coming to the States, it wasn't that good. The Philippines was great. It wasn't that great when I came to America. So,
and you, where did you immigrate to? Like, where did
New York?
Okay, so you're upstate, right?
Upstate. My father and mother are from Madison County area, upstate towards Rochester, Buffalo area.
And then, was the community pretty welcoming? Like, because of the background of your family, like, oh, hey, Pastor Pierce is back, or was it like, oh, Pastor Pierce is back, but what?
Right. So I have, that said, I have one brother and three sisters, so they had 4 kids of all their own, and so I'm the youngest. And talking to people, and they didn't grow up in the city in upstate New York, so very, very odd. Oh, you brought a Filipino back with you. And so that's what they do. Like, he was so cute. We brought a Filipino back with him. But I think it was pressed upon their hearts that they wanted to adopt. So as they tell me, that's a thing they really wanted to do.
And then getting into like the Western culture, American culture specifically, schooling, was that very different? Like how the structure, right? Like having to do, what is it, 9 to 3 or 9 to 4, whatever, and like you're in school, right?
Right. So so Filipino culture, late start, 8 or 9. They take lunch breaks. There is nap times, what I mean?
Yeah.
And so, no, there's no nap times in school in America.
It's called math class.
Right. Food is a big culture, and everybody likes to eat. Unfortunately, I had to read in English a lot because I was the only English-speaking person in class because I went to Filipino school, and I tried to learn the language myself. I wasn't fluent in the language, and then coming to the States, significant difference of we all speak English, but academically, this is really hard. So I was actually homeschooled for quite a few years, and then bounced around. We moved around New York, and went to different schools. That my dad was a principal and a teacher also.
Okay.
So had that kind of upbringing.
I guess this is a stupid question. Your parents speak Tagalog?
They do. So they actually went to school to learn, because it was part of the the
Yeah,
missionary
I'm sure,
organization
right.
group, they were like, hey, learn the language. You don't have to be fluent, but you know, use
Yeah.
the basics. And they were pretty good at it, enough to preach and talk. So while they were over there, they communicated.
And so was that a hindrance too? Because would they speak to you initially in Tagalog, or were they pretty
So
like
At
speaking
home
English?
was always English.
Okay.
The way I had to learn it, actually, I grew up in Mindanao, where we speak Cebuano, a different dialect of Tagalog.
Oh, okay.
And then I had to actually go to school to learn Tagalog.
Oh my gosh!
Because it's like a
Yeah.
a more formal, modern voice of Filipino language. So, and that's kind of how we learned it. One of those things I tell you, if you don't practice it, you lose it.
Sure, 100%.
If you don't
Yeah.
practice it, you lose it.
Well, are you still practicing it?
I don't, not much anymore. Unless there's, I have some of my Filipino friends around. I'll do it, and
Yeah.
but not that much anymore.
Yeah. My wife's Puerto Rican. Obviously, I'm Vietnamese, and so there's a lot of like declined second and third languages.
Okay.
Like
Are you fluent in Spanish?
no, that's the
Okay.
thing. I'm awful at Spanish. She's really good, but it atrophies, like you mentioned. I used to speak a fairly decent amount of Vietnamese as a kid. Now I can just order food and get my ass kicked. I was actually pretty decent at Arabic when I was in Iraq and stuff, but now I can just do the standard greetings and stuff like that. So yeah, it goes quick.
Yes, absolutely.
It goes super quick. Every now and again, I'll be watching a movie and be like, "Hey, I know what he's saying." And so for you then, as now you're coming up, you're into junior high, high school. What was it about the Marine Corps? Was it the life of service that you saw from your family, or was it like, hey, that recruiter looks amazing in his uniform? Like, what was it that brought you to the Marine Corps?
So I ended up graduating from school in Livonia, New York. Considering options, right? Do I go to college? Do I don't? Don't come from a lot of money, and I was like, well, you got to borrow a lot of money to go to college. And I didn't really. I don't come from a family of academics. You know what I mean? My parents didn't have degrees, and I was like, that's a lot of money. And then you got to hope you get a job. And even then, I graduated in '96, so even then, you're like, wasn't really my thing. Okay, well, about the Marines? I've always seen the dress blues. I have pictures of the dress blues. I was like, I want to be that. I just want the uniform. My dad was in the Army, did a small stint for 4 years. Then he got back to the draft days.
Yeah.
So that was my only influence, and he didn't really talk about it a lot. He did 4 years.
Was he in Vietnam?
He was not.
Oh,
So
okay.
he did a lot of time here. Actually, he worked in the Pentagon a little bit. And so that was just my influence. So I was just thinking, I'm going to shoot guns, and it's going to be really cool.
Yeah.
How hard can this be? So to be honest, I tell people the reason I joined Marine Corps because the pair of dress blues, and a recruiter puts his tags down. And says, I was like,
tags,
pride of belonging and travel. This all sounds good. I don't really want, I will pay for school and do all that. I was like, man, I get everything in one package. Like, let's do this.
Of course.
And recruiter just sold me. I'm like, okay. So, uniform, the benefits, I think the pride of belonging, really, really pulled me into wanting to become a Marine.
And how did your family feel about it? He came back like, guess what I just did?
So he did his initial visit. Recruiter did his initial visit in the home. So they were, and my parents were very patriotic. My dad was in the Army. Upstate New York, they're still rah rah.
Sure.
And they really wanted me to do something with my life. So I will tell you, they're like, when are you going?
So when can we get him out?
Is it tomorrow? And I was like, man. So very supportive, very patriotic. They really liked the idea.
What about your siblings? Did any of them serve?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, so I am the only one in my immediate family, and I have a nephew now that just is actually in the Army.
Okay.
And that's about it.
Cool. And then, so we're talking culture shock coming to the States. Culture shock going to Paris Island. One PI to the next, right?
Oh, good one.
Yes,
I see what you did
That's
there.
what I did. I'm out of here, actually.
Yeah.
That was my microphone drop.
I like that. So yeah, I didn't have any idea kind of what I was getting into. I think I saw the videos, and I get down to boot camp, and if you remember, there's a receiving line, the receiving week, and they're kind of nice to you, and I was like,
Yeah, because they don't want to stress you out because then you won't pass the medical.
right,
Yeah.
and I was like, oh, this is it. It was like, just do what I'm told. This is about. I had no idea what I'm getting into, and then until the first couple of weeks, and you're in the squad bay, and then the real drill instructors come in your platoon. And I was like, oh my goodness, this is terrible. This is terrible. Just And then you just kind of fall in line and be like, just do what you're told and
Yeah.
be quick and don't get yelled at.
Yeah.
Funny story, keeping my head down. So I was like, well, don't get yelled at. Just do what you're told, shut your mouth. So I actually got in trouble for that. They had what we call trial training. I kid you not. And there was 3 of us. They were like, recruit peers, go see the captain. And I was like, the captain? Like, this can't be good. And so he was like, hey, we think you're not motivated. You're not participating. I'm like, I'm just keeping to myself.
right.
You know what I mean? I'm doing what I'm
Nose
supposed
to
to
the
do.
grindstone,
Just,
man.
just leave me alone. And apparently that got me in trouble. And so they're like, I think it was a motivation too, because then like, we're gonna make you squad leader next. You know, see what
Yeah,
you can
yeah,
do. And I
yeah.
was like, well, I guess I better do this, or else I'm gonna get kicked out. So yeah.
Or worse, you get phased
Yeah,
out.
I get
right?
phased
You're
out,
like,
or they're gonna drop me back.
Yeah,
and then-
drop you back.
I mean, I never went to boot camp, but I imagine they have like a process. Like, okay, if this guy is not doing anything wrong, find something to make sure that
Yes.
everyone at least gets a little like one-on-one
you got
attention.
it, man.
Like,
That is the secret.
like it doesn't matter even if you do keep your head down. They're gonna find something.
No, That's the great.
You need to
the
fear
great
God.
shit sandwich of
Right.
of entry level training is no matter what you do, it's going to be wrong. And so the idea of having an inspection is hilarious because you could be as squared away. There's going to be something wrong. You know, and
Yeah.
So yeah,
no matter
just
what, either you're too quiet,
become
or not,
familiar
or
with
you talk
failure.
too much,
yeah,
or not enough. So
yeah. Well, that's cool. And so you then go into is it supply, right? Is
Yeah,
it-
supply. So I started out as a
MCT
30-40,
and then
30-43.
yeah. Very cool. What was it? What was the decision then to go to go with a warrant officer route?
Ooh, that's a good one. So I was a staff sergeant, and I was just got off recruiting duty,
Oh.
2008 or 2007.
Okay.
And I had met a Chief Warrant Officer 5, John Walter. He's that retired. He was kind of my example in Iraq, and I was like, I really like the Chief Warrant Officer ranks. They have it's a weird rank. People don't even know what they do. People don't like talk to them,
Yeah.
but they know a lot of things and they have answers. And I was like, I really like that. And so then I had to kind of make a decision, right? Do I want to be a gunnery master sergeant, master gunnery
Yep.
sergeant, stay within my job? I felt I had a good grasp on supply chain. And so I really didn't know if I was going to accept this one of those things, submit your package and let the dice roll, see what happens. So I was actually in Iraq 2008 when I submitted my package for the board. And then, of course,
Where
I
were
got
you at
selected.
in Iraq in 2008?
El Sad.
Oh, I
Yep.
left out. I was in Abu Hayat.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah,
I was
so-
with RCT5.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
We started with RCT2 and General Clarity, or then
Yes.
Colonel Clarity. And then RCT5 and Colonel Malay came in.
Colonel
So that
Malay.
was halfway through, and so
So I
great.
was on
We were
that
right
staff.
there.
I was with Colonel Malay's staff.
Yeah, we got there right at the tail end of 07. So I think I was boots on the ground in September of 07, and then we left out. I think it was like May or June of 8. So
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah. I was there.
Yeah, I actually the day we left, or the day we came back and did the full on like battle handover
Mhm.
with the guys who were replacing us. I don't know if you remember, but the Provincial Security Force
Yes.
had gone up to the Donkey Dick
Mhm.
and then got hammered. Those are the guys that we were partnering with.
Oh.
So I was in Colonel Malay's office as we're getting the reports of them like just getting hammered up there.
Wow.
And I was like, dude, like, we rotated out a week too late. Like, I should have been there.
Wow.
Are we too early? Like, we should have been up there.
Because
with
then
them.
you came to Ripper. Remember? It was on Camp Ripper. The little camp inside outside.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah, and then it was like a can, and then I just slept for 3 days until my flight came. Like,
That was a good chow hall.
It
We
was
had like wing
amazing
nights
chow
there.
hall.
We had like,
Yeah.
that was a good chow hall.
So cool, man. Yeah, we were
Yeah, we
there
were there
at the same time.
at the exact same time.
Awesome. So what has that been like then? So obviously you've risen through the Chief Warrant Officer ranks. I mean, Chief Warrant Officer 5 is nothing to sneeze at, man. So how has that been? Like, do you feel like you felt like there was a Chief Warrant Officer that mentored you, sort of shined the light, and like, do you feel that same pull to? I mean, because all of these things in your life seem to be calling you to service.
Sure.
Do you feel yourself like drawn to giving that back now that you're at really the pinnacle of where you need to be career wise?
So, yeah, absolutely. I think coming up through the game when I was junior warrant officer, Joe Torres and I named Ed Conley, AJ Rods, people that raised me at the SMU, if you're familiar with that supply management unit, kind of where I started. Bred me, raised me, showed me the pedigrees, and kind of had to blossom on my own. Been to a lot of places up coming through, and then to get to this point, and you're absolutely right. So I'm actually one of the SBAs, they call it, Special Platoon Advisors for the current Warrant Officer Basic course right now.
Nice.
So what they did was, they've been trying out the last couple of years, they've assigned a 5 to the platoon.
Yeah.
In conjunction with the SBC.
Good.
So they can get well, here's the captain, he's going to teach you what you need to know.
Yeah.
And here's the 5, he's going to teach you kind of your warrant officer life. And so currently that is my way of trying to impart on them things that they need to know, like you were a gunny staff sergeant yesterday.
Right.
You're now an officer. There are a lot of things they're not going to tell you here. Let me just try to get you as best ready as I can before you go back out to the fleet.
Yeah.
So to answer your question, yes, absolutely. If, as much as I can do mentorship to the younger warrant officers, I mean, to any of the Marines, I'm more than happy to do it and enjoy doing that.
It's so cool. Let's talk about TBS a little bit.
Oh, okay.
We had an article come through, had to have been over a year ago, but it talked about integrating the young second lieutenants in with the new warrant officer class.
Ooh.
And I think that might have actually been by accident, because I think there was some overflow issues or something. I forget what the genesis of it. I didn't get I don't remember it being an intentional thing, but it was so successful. I felt like it was an initiative they were going to continue. Do you see any of that?
So what had happened was we had a surplus of selections that year, and you had to decide, or some people got voluntold.
Yeah.
Because I've met some of those chief warrant officers, like, hey, you can either go, because our course is only 4 months.
Yeah.
And then the
But there's
lieutenant's course
overlap
is
with
long.
the other lieutenant classes.
Right.
Right.
So there's what,
You guys are
6
on deck
months
at
long?
the same time. Yes.
Right.
Right. 6 months. Yeah.
And so the ones that had to go with lieutenants had to go to the lieutenant POI. So there's a big difference of training with your peer group and then lieutenants. Unfortunately, they're starting out from scratch, so you got to go to the range and you got to do all these things.
Yeah, like
from
you said,
scratch.
these guys were just staff sergeants.
Right.
Yeah.
And now ours, if you're swim qualified, you don't got to go to the pool. Yeah, there is a range package, but you don't have to qualify. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you're McMap, you don't got to go. So that's why ours is so shorter. But when you're a lieutenant, you have to do everything they do. And for staff sergeant, warrant officers, I don't want to do all this stuff.
Why do you got to do
training wise? But for mentorship wise, I think that's really great. Being around lieutenants, I think I can see the advantage of that. But you don't get the network and the structure of being with your peer group.
That's true.
Right? So
yeah, and obviously, from the officer standpoint, I see the benefit of it, because coming from an AAV unit, heavy junk, there's this person who's salty as hell.
yeah, right.
He has all, like you said, all the answers, and somebody I absolutely have to work with in order to accomplish the mission.
Sure.
But I don't know how.
Right.
Because he seems really standoffish. He's kind of a dick.
Right.
But he also knows all of the shit. And I
Right.
see the company commanders, the battalion commanders, leaning heavy on this people. What do I do? He intimidates me, but I can't not talk to him.
Sure.
When I talk to my maintenance chief, my platoon maintenance chief, he doesn't want to go talk to him either. So I think there's a lot of value at that entry level for second lieutenants to get used to. What is a warrant officer? What do they even do?
Right.
And how can they help me? And how do I approach these things? And vice versa. Don't shit on the kid just because he's a butter bar.
Yes, absolutely.
And not every one of his ideas is ridiculous.
So to your point, and that's kind of some of the things I've been teaching the warrant officers of 5th Platoon is hey, these lieutenants at entry level, you are also warrant officers. Just remember, you're starting off the officer game at entry level. Be nice to them. Take care of them. Don't just treat them like trash. Because the ones now that I was in back in, 2009 are now lieutenant colonels and colonels, right? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I was like, if you stay in long enough, they're going to be your bosses. So just know, if you made them mad, they will still be mad at you. They don't forget.
Yeah.
So I think it's real important to be able to, see the advantage of collaborating with lieutenants as well as them recognizing your potential and understanding of what a warrant officer is.
Yeah. Really cool. So what's next for you?
So this is it. So I am at the senior billet of supply chain of 3010 up at the Pentagon, and I have 2 more years.
Okay.
So I retire in 2026.
Wow.
And then sail off in the sunset.
Yeah. what do you got on tap? Are you gonna go back to New York? You're gonna stay in the DC area?
I think I'm gonna stay in this area for a
Okay.
couple years. Been looking at a couple possibilities. FEMA's on my line. Maybe be a
Yeah.
professor at LSU. I'm a big LSU alumni, so I think I'm gonna use the next 2 years to kind of figure that
Yeah.
out.
Go
Yeah.
Tigers, yeah.
Go Tigers, yeah. So I went to MBA when I got to LSU, and now I'm in a doctorate program with them currently.
That's
so.
really cool. Yeah,
Oh,
you've
really?
spent some time there. And,
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, it's a
in
family
the
to
Big
LSU.
Easy.
Oh yeah. Very nice. Okay.
Mhm.
And because you're originally from.
Born in California, raised in Virginia.
Okay.
So
So then
I
just had some family go to LSU. Okay.
Yeah, but so as we start to wrap up this interview,
Sure.
the historian in me, looking at the history of American-Filipino relationships, and you have this interesting dichotomy being raised by Americans, but you still have your Filipino roots. And looking back, especially, like Marines fought Filipinos, and then I know there's being in the American melting pot. There's plenty of people who've immigrated to this country who have at one point been at odds with the United States. How do you wrap your head around that spirit history? Are you more forward thinking? Like, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I think forward thinking is a good way to describe that. The position every nation's had conflict in their history. Certainly, Philippines and America has had theirs, and I've always thought about that. I've never had to deploy to the Philippines, and back in the day or a few years ago, fight Abu Sayyaf. I mean,
Yeah.
yes, they are terrorists and bad guys, but they are still Filipinos.
Yep.
And I've never been put in a situation, but I like to think like, they're bad guys and you're causing harm on people, regardless of race and what race I'm at. We still need to do what Marines do and protect the people around us. So as much as I appreciate the Philippines, I understand the responsibilities of my job, and I appreciate America. So I think it's a well balanced of the culture of appreciating.
Absolutely.
Sure.
I mean, there's also there is America and Philippines did fight, but they worked together in World War II, so there is examples of positive cooperation. And then, as we finalize this interview, the last question we always spring on at the very end, surprise, is what was the best day of the Marine Corps?
Ooh. To be honest with you, I became a warrant officer. And just something I never thought I would be an officer, coming up through the ranks as enlisted. That was good and all. And I was like, wow, you're going to make me an officer?
Yeah.
This is a lot of responsibility,
Am I being punked?
Yeah. And I was like, I was just a staff sergeant yesterday. So absolutely. When I became an officer, I thought that privilege and responsibility weighed heavily upon me. And I'd like to think I took that responsibility serious. So
Hell yeah. And then do you have any like plugs or social media where anyone could follow you if you're interested? Or
So yeah, I'm on Instagram under the Jason Pierce. I also run a lifestyle movement called Not Today BCP,
Oh, nice.
and it's exactly like it sounds. Say no to BCP,
That's
right? Right. And people, I get the same reaction. So I've been running that for like 7 years, and you can find me on LinkedIn, and I'm on Facebook also.
All right,
Awesome.
awesome. Then well, thanks for coming on the show.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
thanks for
thanks,
having
Jason.
me, guys.
This
I
is
really
awesome.
appreciate that. This was great.
We would like to thank Airbus U.S. Space and Defense for sponsoring this episode. Marine Corps Expeditionary Advanced Base operations require logistical support when and where Marines need it. The Airbus UH-72 Unmanned Logistics Connector provides proven performance and reliability alongside next-generation autonomous capability. As the Marine Corps revolutionizes warfare, the UH-72 Unmanned Logistics Connector evolves to support it. Visit AirbusUS.com to learn more. That's AirbusUS.com. Scuttlebutt is a production of the Marine Corps Association. You have heard the voices and contributions from Major Vic Rubel, USMC retired, Nancy Lichman, William Trudy, and our guest. Ty Frazier is the editor, sound engineer, and technical producer. The Marine Corps Association is not an agency of the U.S. government. The opinions expressed in this episode are the personal views of the participants and do not reflect the official position of the United States Marine Corps, the Department of Defense, or the Marine Corps Association.